Chief Quimby here, and your assignment is to listen to all the Geekcast Radio Network's podcasts.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, and you are listening to Studio 2009.
There is nothing wrong with your podcast player. Do not attempt to adjust the volume. Hello and welcome back into our studio. You are now inside Studio 2009, only on the Geekcast Radio Network. I'm, of course, TFG1Mike, and joining me once again, as always, is that good old Detective Dave Draper. Hi, Dave. How are you?
Not dead yet, so I guess that's something.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah,
something.
That's something. Folks, we have pre-recorded most of these episodes. By the time you hear them, we've been recording them since December into January of 2025, and now currently February of 2025. Just to let you know that, as of this recording, I've been sick for a month and a half. I have no idea what in the hell is going on with me. And these doctors aren't giving me any damn answers, but it's not life-threatening. It's just aches and pains. And, like, if one thing aches and pains, the other thing doesn't ache and pain. So it's kind of like a balancing act of where my pain is going to go in my body. Just put the pain in my ass, folks, please.
Trust me, that's not as much.
I know.
It's just as bad, if not worse.
Yes, I know.
Speaking as someone who literally messed up a hip muscle last year, right in the buttock. Yeah. No.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
There were, and this is old school podcasting, folks, talking about our medical issues and the weather and everything else because there's a storm brewing and all this and all that.
You just turned 45, so welcome to the falling apart old man club.
He says that
the warranty has expired.
Oh, God. All I can think of when you said warranty has expired, all I can think of is Retgar from Transformers the movie. Offer expires while you wait. Operators are standing by. But yeah, falling apart, folks. It's all about that falling apart. However, today we continue on in our journey as we put our detective hats on and jump back in time with Columbo. These are the Columbo files here inside Studio 2009. And
nothing will make us feel like hip young people, like talking about a TV show from 1973.
You know what? I do feel hip and young watching this show.
I don't feel hip, but I do enjoy it. I do think it's a fun show.
I feel hip and young watching this show. You know why? Because it's good fucking television, unlike what's on today.
Oh, well, that shouldn't make you feel hip and young at all. That should make you feel ancient. Quality programming? Why? That's not what the kids are into.
Yeah. No, not really.
Based on literally everything I see these days.
These are the Columbo files here inside Studio 2009. We're starting at the beginning and going in order. Main source to watch these online is Tubi, so Tubi TV, so you can watch those there. That's where I watch them. Dave has the complete series DVD set. Yep. Today is Season 2, Episode 7, and it's time for the most dangerous match.
Sir, Mr. Clayton, sir, I don't suppose any grandmaster actually relaxes the evening before a match. Can you tell us what your schedule is for tonight?
Well, this evening, a small martini perhaps, a large steak definitely, and a good horror movie if there's one close by.
Sir, are you telling us you're not concerned about tomorrow's game?
Chess is never merely a game, my friend. And as for tomorrow, well, for me, it's just one more match. No, please don't quote me on that.
All right, now I have to immediately take issue with this episode. It's about a chess match between America and the USSR, and they don't play One Night in Bangkok once. 0 out of 4 stars. Worst episode ever. No, that's a joke to another old thing. There was a musical in the 80s called Chess, which had a hit song, which was also about a conflict between the U.S. and, for you young people out there, there used to be this entity called the USSR, which was our geopolitical rival. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways we sort of engaged with them was through chess, because the Russians were really, really good at chess. That was a thing.
Wasn't it? Was it the Russians or the Germans that invented Tetris? I think it was the Russians.
Oh, no, the Russians. That's a great.
Yeah.
Oh my God, have you ever seen that movie?
Not yet.
Oh, it's so good.
I gotta find a Yar copy of it or something because it was exclusive to Apple TV, and I'm not a rotten fruit person. I'm an Android person.
I'm an Android person too, but my best friend had it.
Yeah, okay.
And then I got it through a completely legal DVD seller.
There you go.
To the best of my knowledge.
Yes.
Hey, man, if they put it out legally, I'd buy it legally.
Absolutely. That's the thing. Okay, I understand why certain things are exclusive to certain streaming platforms for a certain period of time. Like okay, Tetris. I don't even. You'll probably know the name of the damn movie more than I will. But the Tetris movie that we're talking about that was
called Tetris.
Okay, well I wasn't sure if it was like Tetris, the story of how the blocks.
I think it's either just called Tetris or the Tetris movie, but I think it's just called Tetris.
That's fine.
And it is so good.
I'm sure it is. I love Tetris.
This is true. I was on the edge of my seat because I like the stuff that happens in that movie. I almost cannot believe it really happened in real life. The president of Nintendo is running around the Soviet Union being chased by KGB, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is a thing that I have a little handheld Tetris unit. You know how they make those little mock cabinets, and I have one of those, and I have it by my bedside, and I literally play it every night before I go to bed to give my brain a little bit of a workout. And it was I'm like, this is a thing that I play every day. This story's crazy.
Yeah. Between the Tetris movie and the other one, no, not Weird Al. I've seen that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, no. That I'm not saying that's good. I'm not thinking about that. But between Tetris and the sports one with Damon, not the air up there that was Kevin Bacon back in the 90s, the new one about not Moneyball. That's Brad Pitt. Crap.
Sports is not my thing.
Yeah, it's my thing, but I forget off the top of my head. I'll remember by the end of the show, folks. Columbo.
Oh, Nike. The Nike one?
Yes.
The Nike one. Oh, the Nike one's good, too. Well, the Nike one's good, but it's it's good if you're from the 80s because it's very member-berry heavy.
Yeah. Air.
Because it's about Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Tetris movie, Air, Moneyball, they're all one-word titles. I'm thinking of longer titles for some of these things, but were you a chess player as a kid? You were?
Yes, okay. I was. As a kid, I played chess a lot up until my freshman year in college. And I was fairly good at it. And then one day I wasn't. I don't know. I just started losing. So I was like, okay, well, my time has come. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I play it, but I'm not I don't know the names of all the moves or all the spots. I just know I know the name of the pieces. Yeah. But King's 4 to Rook 9. I don't,
Yeah, no.
I know the Sicilian defense. I think that's the only Sicilian defense, and then there's another one.
Queen's Gambit.
I know castling, and then I used to know how to do the Fool's Mate. I used to know how to do that. The trick is if the other person knows how to do that, it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
But but I'm not I'm not super invested in the minutia of chess.
Yeah, me either. And the thing is, for me, there are two things for me with chess. I remember that the knight moves in an L shape.
Yeah.
Can move in L shape. The knight piece. And then there's, those blue tin sugar cookies. I don't,
No. I don't like sugar cookies, so I probably.
Okay, not fine. The best. But everybody listening should remember this. They came in a blue tin. They were sugar cookies that had shapes and designs, and there was a knight shape on one of those cookies. That's as close as I come to chess. I'm a checkers guy. I will double jump you all day.
Well, buy me something first.
Okay, maybe that was not the right.
But I get you.
Absolutely. So, chess grandmaster Emmett Clayton, played by Lawrence Harvey, loses an impromptu game to Eastern European champion Tomlin Dudek, played by Jack Crucian. The night before their championship match, Clayton decides to kill Dudek.
This was an interesting one because it's very rare that the usually you come in kind of in media res with the murder already not only decided on but planned.
Yeah.
And in this one, he does not start out intending to murder Dudek.
No, he doesn't.
In fact, you get the sense that was a very spur of the moment thing.
Yes, it was. So I don't suffer from epilepsy, but I know there are a lot of people that do. I will warn people now, if you watch this episode, be very careful in the beginning, because the dream that he's having, even though I don't have epilepsy, I do have other vision issues, and man, those multicolored flashes, oh yeah,
that kind of like,
yeah.
That's another thing I was thinking of when I was watching this is we tend to think of decades sort of like very I don't know how to put it, very flatly. Like 1981 to 1989, that's the 80s. But really, they're more fluid than that.
Yeah.
So like what we think of as the 60s was more kind of mid 60s to mid 70s. So this was a very kind of like, they had that 60s crazy. Yep. That's where I'm going with this crazy visual crackle stuff, like that you do kind of have to issue a warning about to people with epilepsy. It had a very 60s vibe to it.
Yeah, it very much did. And I wasn't sure. Like, we've talked about all the times that we've been doing the Columbo files, we've been talking about how these episodes start. Some of them start like a movie, and you still have the way the titles are, you still have them feeling like old. Because when I say old, I mean, I know this episode came out March 4th of 73, but compare movie titles from 1983 or 93. And I know this isn't a movie, it's a TV show, but the way these are presented is it's not your normal TV show opening kind of thing. And having the lights and the scene of the dream, and then he wakes up, it's like, oh, it's a dream. Okay. But yeah, just be really careful, folks, if you watch this episode at the beginning, because there are some flashing lights issues.
Tribute lights, yeah.
Yep. But I liked this. I thought this was great. I liked how it seemed that Dudek and Clayton, even though they were opponents, they kind of, like, Dudek was like, "Hey, pal, let's pal around."
Yeah, Dudek was a nice guy.
Yeah, Dudek was a nice guy.
It is interesting considering that this was like the height of the Cold War. You know, I mean, this was. The 70s were Vietnam, the geopolitical stuff, but the Russian. I mean, I don't think they ever say he's Russian per se, but like he's the Russian guy.
Yeah,
and he's kind of really a lovable guy. He just wants to live life, eat his snails, which is like ugh. When I was at Disney, my companion, we went to the expensive French restaurant, and she had snails, and I was like, ugh. Blah. Yeah.
No.
Gross. But anyway, but just that he's got this kind of real fun joy for life, and of course he's had some health issues, so he's kind of fighting against that. And this may be maybe I'm a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, air quote, maybe. But like this is like probably one of the first times I've actually really felt bad that the victim died.
Yeah.
Because he was such a joyful, fun guy, and it takes him two attempts. But when he finally gets him, he kills him. I'm almost kind of like, oh, I was kind of hoping he'd pull through.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping he would pull through too. It was, and this is what is cool. Like we've said before in other season 2 episodes we've done, they were kind of experimenting with the formula a little bit, because the formula in this is not. It's the normal Columbo thing, but there are certain things in this where I'm just like, there's no, like the suitcase that Dudek has, like that to me is too. It's just too small to me. The suitcase the brown suitcase.
Yeah, the Clayton packs.
Yeah, the one that Clayton packs up. That's a briefcase or a satchel. That's not. And then later, after that scene where he's in because I'm looking at the picture right now because I took a screenshot of it. After he goes out of the hotel room here, you see another person with a larger. I'm like, that's a suitcase. This thing is like, I don't know, some makeup bag or something. I don't remember. I don't think anyone could, even if you're just going for an overnight, that's too small to me. And I know I'm nitpicking, but it was just something I noticed.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because we do 2 episodes at a time, and there was a little bit of a gap here this time. This was one where they went to Columbo before he's even involved in the case at all, didn't they? Or is that the next one?
Oh.
There's one of the ones that we watched where they cut to Columbo and he's doing his thing, but he's not even on the case yet. It was just like, hey guys, this is a Columbo episode. Don't forget, this isn't this is Columbo.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if it's this one.
I think it was this one. I really do, because this is the one with the dog. The dog's in this one, and they cut to him at the vet.
Yep, that's
and it's the same vet, I think.
It is the same guy. Yep, which is great.
Because that kind of continuity, I don't remember it being that big a thing back in the day.
So the other thing about Clayton, Emmett Clayton, is that he's deaf.
Yes.
And you kind of see that, and you kind of see, because he has the hearing aid, because this is the 70s, 60s, 70s, whatever, it's the little pocket thing he puts in his pocket, and he's got the little, so literally it's like seeing somebody wearing over-the-ear headphones kind of thing, like the giant headphones I wear to podcast. So they see it, and so they know he's deaf and whatever, and then his hearing aid fails him.
It doesn't fail him, he throws it against the wall.
Okay, well.
Yeah, it failed being thrown against the wall.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he breaks it for purposes of whatever.
Because he was angry.
Yeah, and, well, he shouldn't have done that, because if he did do that, he would know.
Well, okay, you're basically what happens is he's okay, so Dudek had become ill, had been the greatest, whatever they call it, the champion of the world in chess.
Yep.
And he became ill, so he kind of dropped out, and that created an opening for Clayton to get involved.
Yeah.
So now Clayton's the grand champion, and they're going to have the match that they always never had.
Yes.
And the night before, Dudek sneaks out to go get his snails at a French restaurant.
Yep.
Clayton follows him, and they sort of put together an impromptu game, and Clayton loses.
Yes.
And on the way sneaking in and out of the hotel, because again, this is 1970, blah, 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 and Dudek is the big champion of Eastern communist land. Like he's under a lot, and he's also got the health issues, so everyone's kind of watching him like a hawk. So he's sneaking in and out. As they're sneaking back in, they notice that there's a big garbage crusher chute thing.
Yep.
And so Clayton basically, after he loses the game, because they continue the game back in their room, he freaks out. He throws his thing against the wall and breaks it. His hearing aid against the wall and breaks it.
Yep.
And he comes up with his plan. He sort of tries to he manipulates Dudek into coming with him, because he's like, oh, there's this girl I like and she's Russian. Can you write this note to her? And so he comes up with his whole scheme. He's also able to sneak in and out of Dudek's room, even though the guy's like under communist like surveillance. Like he's able to get in and out of that room super easy multiple times. But
they weren't. They were probably in their rooms. They weren't in his room.
Okay, this is the height of the Cold War, and this guy's like
I understand.
I mean, the bigger they would have been more concerned about him defecting, particularly the way that his love of snails and decadence and food. Yeah, they would have been more worried about him like sneaking out the back door, which would have been a legitimate fear of theirs, which is almost what Clayton plays upon, this idea of running off. But he pushes him down the garbage chute. Yeah. Well, it's not a garbage chute; it's a big compactor machine.
It's a trash compacter.
But it's not like it's not like the ones that we had. Not like the ones we had back in my day, back when I worked. Because it's like there's like a height and there's a drop. So anyway, the point being that you find out at the end, because of the dog, Columbo's snooping around and dog runs up the thing and almost falls down the chute. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, don't worry, he's fine. He wouldn't have been hurt. And they're like, you crazy? He would have been crushed. He's like, no, there's a bar. And if you hit the bar, it shuts the machine off. And that's when Columbo's like, So because Clayton's thing didn't work, by the way, he could read lips, which is how he's able to communicate with Dudek.
Yep.
Without his hearing aid.
Yep.
So the whole point is that he didn't realize that when Dudek went down the chute, he hit the bar and turned it off, and that's how he survived.
Yeah.
And so later on, he again sneaks into the room and swaps out the medication for something lethal. But yeah, that's how Columbo twigs that the literal line is the killer had to be a deaf man.
Yep, because he didn't hear the thing turn off.
Go off. Yeah, there's a scene at the end when they're in the room with the Crusher, and Columbo's yelling, and he's yelling, and he turns off his thing, and then he turns off his hearing aid, and then Columbo kind of signals for them to turn off the machine, and they keep yelling, and he doesn't realize the machine's off, and he's like, "You didn't hear it that night either. Go off. The killer had to be a deaf man." That's what kind of tricks him, or he doesn't even trick him. He just shows him like,
he's
again, that's another one that's like,
out.
Prove that court, buddy.
Here you go. It's kind of like Bill Engvall always used to say, "Here's your sign." Yeah, I liked this one, but I don't know. You
know what was interesting for me that I noticed, because we were talking earlier about how older things are better, and I noticed this when I rewatched the old Batman a couple years back, and I noticed something about that too, which is like a lot of admittedly the minor characters, the secondary characters, the not cameo, but like the reporter and a couple other characters, they were black. Right. And it was just very casual. It was just like black people live in this world, like because we tend to think of everything old being very whitewashed. And particularly in Batman, but there were always like black characters. They weren't the main characters, and you can say that needed to be worked on, but they were always there. It wasn't like Mayberry or like Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah. Someone's going to write in and say, Dukes of Hazzard had black people. Probably did. But you know what I mean? Like it was just like interesting that there were these characters. It was just, I don't know. Like nowadays, everybody would be black and nobody would be white.
Well, I think the thing for me was I almost didn't realize that was one of the reporters. I almost thought that was Dudek. I thought they were going to do that.
Reporter? Oh, no. Okay.
The black guy.
Yeah.
Like I thought they were like, here's how I thought of this episode in my mind before I saw who Dudek really was. When the black guy shows up, I'm like, oh, okay, white knight, black knight, blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's a little on the nose, but...
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I thought. Like, I thought they were... I'm glad they didn't do that, but that's literally, like... Because that one, the black guy, the black reporter, he's just standing there talking to Columbo for a couple of minutes.
No, he's talking to... Not Columbo. He's talking to the guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's talking to Lawrence Harvey.
Yeah, he's talking to Clayton. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
In fact, we talked about this before the episode started, that Harvey makes a joke about patriotism, and I'm like, you're not American. You're English.
Yeah.
Kind of like that line from Blackadder. You're not English, you're German.
How'd you know she was a Nazi, Dad? She talks in her sleep. Yeah. The old stuff is the best stuff. I don't know. I liked this. I thought it was an interesting case, but the next episode is more interesting to me than
the next episode sucked all the oxygen out of it. Like, because we do it two at a time. It really did suck all the oxygen out of the room. Yeah, like it's got so much to talk about that it's kind of we gotta get through this one. And this is a fine episode.
No, this is a good episode. No, but
I'm just saying it has the dog, so the dog actually contributes something, which is unusual.
I love how Columbo just constantly hands the dog to the vet. Like, he doesn't know Columbo doesn't know what to do with his dog. Like, he hands him off, he does this, he does that, he does all these things. And I'm like, dude, come on, figure it out, Columbo. You're a detective, for crap's sake.
Well, I like Columbo doesn't really do that, but I like that kind of character that's really good at something and kind of at sea, like has like a natural gift, but is kind of like not great at like normal life. I think those are fun characters. And I don't mean like, because nowadays it's just like they do it as like autistic, like or quasi-artistic. But what I mean is just like a normal sense of, oh, this is a little beyond my abilities. Like I'm super badass, combat man, but like I got to talk to my teenage kid about life, but I don't know what I'm doing. I gotta do my grocery shopping, but I know how to kill a man 15 ways, but do I get ketchup or catsup, which is a Simpsons joke. You know what I mean? I like that archetype. And Columbo kind of represents that. Like, there's a little Sherlock Holmes there where, Holmes had no place in his brain for anything that didn't. He literally says, I have no place in my mind for, like, anything that doesn't help me solve crimes.
Yep.
Any knowledge that doesn't help me, like, solve crimes, I have no room for it. Who doesn't know anything about astronomy. So, yeah. So, yeah, I can see him be kind of a little lost with how to deal with it. And, man, dogs are a pain. I love my dog, but they're a pain in the ass.
Also, in this episode, we get your two favorite things. We get the dog in 90% of the episode, and we get the car, because I took a screenshot of the car, and he had the top down. I'm like, anytime that car has the top down, I'll take a screenshot, because I love the Peugeot convertible. Yeah, I love the convertible part of it. So fun.
He did do one more thing. It's weird. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we associate with Columbo that just really hasn't shown up yet, or to a great extent.
I like the line about when they're talking about the chess coach. He's like, he's not like a football coach. And my thinking is, chess and football are very similar. You have to, whatever.
There's a degree. There's a degree of strategy.
Absolutely. I love Columbo when he says, "Oh, false teeth. I've never had that problem myself yet."
I mean, back in those days, it was pretty common at some point when you get to a certain age, you get false teeth.
Yep. So when Columbo goes back to the elevator, this is after he drops the dog off with the doctor again. He goes back to the elevator because he's gonna go get the guy. He doesn't say it. He walks up to him and he says, whatever. But, like, literally, that was a moment where it was like, excuse me, sir, just one more thing or one more thing. So, but they're just teasing us at this point.
I think they haven't come up with it yet. As a thing, as a bit. Because has he literally done that yet?
Yeah.
Just one more thing. One more thing?
Yeah. He did it, like, I want to say 75% of season 1. I've got a counter. Because every time he said it,
what's the counter at?
Oh, God. I'd have to look at everything.
You just said you had it.
I have it. I don't have it in front of me.
You lie to me, Dr. Jones. You a very bad man.
Yeah. Oh, okay, short round. But yeah. Did this episode keep your interest throughout?
Yes. Asterisk, I think it got overshadowed by the next one.
Yep, I agree. Which, are you itching to watch the next episode now? Hell yeah.
At the time, no more, because I kind of knew what was coming, yes. But, yeah.
I don't know what's coming. That's the thing. I knew
it was the Martin Landau episode, so I knew the twin, I knew that there were. I knew elements of that, so I was kind of excited for it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we are recommending this show to watch for everybody. Absolutely, 100%. This episode specifically, the most dangerous match, I would probably give it on our geek meter. If I can get the geek meter to pull up, there we go. I would probably give it a 4.0. No, 3.5. Good. It's a mixed bag, but the good stuff outweighs the bad. Like the cars in this, the dogs in this, the way Columbo acts in this, I found really interesting. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I think a 4 is that because I mean I don't know what's bad in it, so I would give it a 4.
Very cool, very cool. All right, folks, we're going to go to a quick commercial break and hear some podcast ads and some other stuff, and we will come back to close the show right after this.
I know that man. He's probably already called the police, the military, the FBI.
Come on, it's your move.
Ah, yes. My move. So... And my queen will take your knight. Surely you expected that. And then your pawn must take my queen. Otherwise, my queen would take your bishop and you will be down 2 pieces. Then my rook takes your rook. Check. And then you must interpose your bishop at king 1. And then my bishop will take your pawn threatening your queen. And therefore your queen must take my bishop. At which point my rook takes your bishop. Checkmate. Oh, please, never mind. It's just a bit of luck. It's nothing. You've been distracted all evening. I could see that.
Yes.
Perhaps there is one too many beautiful ladies here. Like Linda Robinson, perhaps?
Because the world needs another movie podcast.
The Geekcast Radio Network presents for your listening pleasure the Cinema Geek.
Hosted by Amanda, Kevin, Matt, and Dan.
Each week we dive headfirst in the landscape of movies as we discuss movie news, play movie games,
go in-depth on reviews,
and even have a top 10 countdown or two.
Also, don't miss our director retrospective series, where we review noted directors' movies film by film. Bottom line is, if you love movies and love podcasts, you need to experience the Cinema Geeks.
You can find us on iTunes or geekcastradio.com.
Hey, Jared, I have this idea for a new show for the network.
What is it?
You know how I liked the 1990s comic book series, The New Warriors?
Yes. Yep.
And you know how at the Long Box Crusade we're trying to get the YouTube channel going?
Yes, also correct.
Well, thanks. So, how about you and me do a live stream show about the New Warriors? You've never read the books before, and I have them, and so that's a great setup. We could give it a catchy name like Come Out to Play. Don't you think that's the greatest idea?
Sure, Delvin. That's a great idea. Just one question.
Yeah?
Why do you have me dangling off this ledge, holding me by only one arm?
Oh, yeah. Well, you'll get it soon. I hope. Come Out to Play, a New Warriors podcast, comes to you live on YouTube every second Tuesday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Longbox Crusade channel. If you can't watch it there, we replay them on the Longbox Crusade Network podcast feed, available anywhere podcasts can be found. We invite you to come along for the ride, or in other words, New Warriors, come out to play.
Hello, geeks and geekettes! Looking for a podcast that covers a vast array of topics? Then check out Altered Geek Unleashed, where we discuss our thoughts on this week's geeky news, tech, gaming, television shows, movies, cartoons, comics, and more. So, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks, every Friday on the Geekcast Radio Network.
Are you in need of what the heck did I just listen to? Are you in need of a laugh at the expense of the internet? Boy, do I have a treat for you. Here at Lyrically Audacious, we turn just about anything into music. Visit us now at youtube.com/@symbol, Lyrically Audacious, all one word. So swing by, have a laugh. Stay lyrical, stay audacious, here at Lyrically Audacious.
Hi, welcome to Up Nerd. What is Up Nerd? Up Nerd is a podcasting network of shows hosted by me, The Uneven Flow. People have told me I like to talk at them about a pretty wide range of topics, comics, games, movies, books, whatever. And now I'll be able to talk at you. Along with the weekly show will be 2 bi-weekly shows. First we have Find You Pick, a show where one host picks a movie, then both hosts have to watch it. Then the next episode, the other host picks the movie. Each show will have a breakdown of why it is that movie was picked by that host, after which will be a discussion about what it is we just watched. Lastly, we have the show Top 3, Bottom 3. Similarly to Find You Pick, one host picks a television series, and the next week, the pick alternates to the other host. Here, the episodes of the show are chosen by the top 3 episodes and the bottom 3 episodes, as rated on imdb.com. Yes, this is probably the worst way to watch and review a television show, and yes, that's the idea. On our shows, I'll detail out how you can suggest things for us to watch. You can reach out and talk with the hosts, and maybe even appear on an episode. I hope you'll join me for this exciting new podcast adventure. I swear we're going to make it more than 8 episodes.
On the Simplistic Reviews podcast, we talk movies. We talk TV. We talk.
Hello, Julie, what the heck are you doing?
Trying to make our spots sound more exciting by adding explosions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could have got the point across with sound effects, not the real thing. Car.
Download the show on iTunes or at simplisticreviews.blogspot.com.
I'm sure your insurance company will cover that.
No, they won't.
No, they probably won't.
What is it with this guy? He keeps disappearing.
I found him a little early this time. That's him. They're carting away right now.
All right, folks, we are back here inside Studio 2009, episode 137 of the podcast. Any final thoughts from you, sir, on the most dangerous match or where we are so far in the Columbo series overall?
I think they're starting to get really good. They're starting to get a little twisty, which is fun. I think the characters become, pretty defined into the iconic character that we remember. It was a fun episode. It's again, I made the joke about telling the kids about how it was back in the day, but I mean, it is kind of interesting to go back and look, even though that's really it is downplayed to a degree. I mean, to a more degree than I would have thought, given the era. Maybe in the 80s, they would have made a bigger deal out of it, I guess. You would think in the 70s, they would have made a bigger deal out of the Russia Western dynamic is what I mean. Yeah. It's almost like that's just sort of like, yeah, I'm from the East and there are guys watching me and that's a thing. Yeah, so it's an interesting time capsule. It's fun. The dog is in it. It's a good. It has one of the more memorable endings, I think, where he's yelling and the thing's turned off and It would be easier if I did not have to shout. Yeah, it's again, I feel bad. This is one of those like when a thing you really like goes up against like a juggernaut. It's like the next one is just we're going to talk about that for an hour probably. Probably. So it's a good episode.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, yeah, it's a good episode. It's just that I don't know. I felt that this episode had a lot of the things that we have been expecting. We always say the wife, whenever he mentions his wife, whenever the car is there or whenever the dog is there, kind of thing. And this episode's plot is around chess and the whole U.S. versus Russia, U.S. versus whatever, champion kind of thing. It's not a bad episode, but out of all of the episodes we watched so far, this is probably in the pile of I probably wouldn't watch this again. Not because it's bad, but just because for me, it's not one of the more interesting ones. I mean, the dude tried to kill him with a garbage chute, and then he tried to poison him. He had to try to kill him twice because he couldn't get the job.
It's different than the formula, Like it's. I mean, the fact that he's again, the one thing I have an issue with is the fact that he's able to get in and out of those hotel rooms so easy.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I know somebody when they eventually listen to this episode of the podcast, they're going to say, but he had this, or he has this little thing. He has this little slip or this little whatever in his hand that he puts over the door jamb to make it not shut. That's how he gets in. But that maid, I don't know how that maid didn't catch that. I don't know how that maid didn't see him pressing against the door with his little trick thing to keep the door from locking. That's what it was. That's why he had such an easy time to go between the doors. And other than the maids or the one maid, there wasn't really anyone else in the hotel, in the hallway of the hotel. Yeah. Like, it was him and the maid, and that was it. It was like everybody else is either in their rooms or nobody was renting those rooms, whatever you reserve, whatever you do with hotel rooms. So, yeah, it's a little whatever. I think there were a lot of, like I said, the few times that I thought that Columbo was going to say lines that we know he always says, they weren't there. So it's like, I don't know. But yeah, is the most dangerous match, and I think that's going to do it for us, folks. So, thank you for listening, as always. If you'd like to join us here in the studio, if you'd like to get in contact with us or any of that kind of good stuff, visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on all of our posts. You can also buy merch at shop.geekcastradio.com. We have t-shirts up to 4XL. We have mugs. We have other things. Steve's adding stuff to that all the time. You can check us out on all the podcasting platforms that you listen to, Apple, etc., etc., etc. You can follow us on Twitter at GeekCastRadio, at It's Studio 2009, and I am at TFG1Mike. Dave doesn't do social media.
That is correct.
If you're on Facebook, go to facebook.com/GeekCastRadio Network. You can also check out Studio 2009 podcast over there as well. Join us next time when Dave and I will be talking about Season 2, Episode 8, the finale of the season, Double Shock. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
Dave Draper.
You'll hear us back in the studio soon.
Kind of dark in here, isn't it?
Why are you detaining me, Lieutenant? It would be easier if I did not have to shout, but the damn machine will turn the damn thing off.
These are the Columbo Files here inside Studio 2000. Yep. Restart.